What up, boys? The Fox for you guys again. Today we're gonna bring Preservation Evoker, and we're gonna talk a little bit about Preservation Evoker, stats, talents, and some tips. Exactly as the last guided that we made. Really interesting class. Let's jump on though. So Preservation Evoker is a little, till now my experience is like it's a really fun class to play, but you really need some tips, right? But we're gonna start with the beginnings. Another thing, if you guys can help me reach the 500 subs on YouTube, thank you very much for the views and the comments in the last video. I'm gonna try to level more characters and bring more guides for you guys, and I probably will bring a more extended guide from Mistweaver, right? I reach like I'm Grand Marshal with my Mistweaver already, 2400. I will bring more extensive, when I mean extensive guide, is like how you should behave as a Mistweaver monk in Blitz in order to go up in CR. But now let's focus on Preservation Evoker. So stats is really important, even if you are playing healer or even if you are playing DPS dragon. The prio is almost the same, okay? It's like intellect mastery aced, in this case intellect mastery versatility aced, okay, and then critical. But ace, you just need to reach the cap of 10% more or less into PvP, right? And your priority stat, your main stat is going to be mastery. Healing done to allies is increased by 27%, while their health percentage is lower than your own. So basically, you can work around between mastery and versatility most of the items, but you need to put an eye on the 10% haste or 8% haste, around 10%, right? It doesn't need to be 10% or 11%. It doesn't need to be specific, at least for Blitz, and is most what we cover, but it really needs to be around 10%. Talents. I'm gonna drop my build again. I try to search the most played build by Preservation Evoker. As you guys know, we try to reach a little bit of every single class. So we master Boomy, we master Mistweaver, we don't master other classes, we just try to reach them. But mostly the talents that, or the spec that the most used is this one that you guys are seeing right now. For a little trick, like your hero talents needs to be the Chrono Warden and not like the Flame Shaper, okay? It's not really useful at all, a Flame Shaper. And another little tip is like you really should use Nullifying Shroud as well. Obsidian Melt, Nullifying Shroud if you guys don't play against some Evokers, or if you guys don't play with Evoker. Nullifying Shroud is like the known control, right? Redden yourself in arcane energy, prevented the next 3 full loss of control effect against you, last 30 seconds. And Obsidian Melt, while you on Obsidian Scale is active, you gain immunity to interrupt, silence, and pushback. And this is like a huge talent. You really need to use this. And I'm going to explain you why in the rotation. As you guys know, we cover like stats, talents, rotations, and tips. And in this case, I'm going to teach you guys how to fly with Preservation Evoker as well, so you can do like a better flag carrier. Okay, let's go down there. Let's go down there to the Oppa. Here we are. Okay. So important spells, or like your main spells. As a Evoker, you don't have like a direct healing as a Mistweaver, right? It's different. Okay? It's different healing. You have one talent named Echo, and what Echo does is like every time you echo someone. Let me see. Oh, this is the Horde Alliance. This is a Horde Dwarf. This is the Dwarf Paladin. Okay. Every time I echo, and imagine that I reversion myself, I will reversion him as well. So the idea when you are, and this is very interesting because I don't see guides for Blitz specifically. So the idea when you are healing, at least a big party, is you need to echo the most that you can, most of the players, and in this case, reversion other player. When I mean like echo the most that you can, is like you should echo 1, 2, imagine 2, 3, 4. You should echo them, and then instead of healing directly them, you're gonna heal yourself, imagine, or you're gonna heal another party ally. Why? Because even if you heal yourself or heal another party ally, you're gonna heal all of them. It's important, at least in Blitz, to keep the most min-max the most reversion and min-max the most echo that you can. That is going to be your sustain heal, okay? Another trick that I want to explain you guys, and like the ability that you're gonna use the most, is like when you echo one of your friends, imagine that you are echo these guys over here, right? And at your left, you have like another group of like 3 DPSs, example. And if you bread them, you're gonna bread those as well, okay? The breath, as we know, is a channel heal, okay? In stage 3, like give more heal than stage 1, but it lets as well one hot healing over time into your target, and when you have echo into other targets, will heal that hot, that healing over time will be in the targets that you cone them first. Oh, sorry, this is Brad. That you conons first, and is going to be in the other targets as well, as the echo as explained. Let me see. So this is like the 3 main abilities that you really want to keep them up. Okay. Another trick, and this is not even a trick, is a way to heal. Okay. As you guys realize, most of your healing, like when it's not reversion, and reversion is like odds and it can give you some heal, right? And if you drop echoes, because echo is not a heal, it's like just a replicator of the heal that you are doing. But if you realize, it's like 31k, 30k as a reversion. So the idea to heal with reversion is let reversion up, keep reversion up into the targets, but it's not a direct heal. And when it comes to a direct heal, you have Verdant Embrace. That is the one that you fly to the target and you heal them, 431. And in this case, I did like a stasis, so that's why you saw like the bunch of heal. When you do like a Verdant, he is going to heal, and is going to let the debuff as well, that is like life divided. Here, life bind, sharing healing with an ally, okay? So it's like an echo, let's put it like that. It's like an echo, but directly to the target. You have like direct heal, like the Verdant Embrace probably was going to be one of the heals that you're gonna use the most. You echo these guys, you Verdant Embrace to the target. There you go, and you reversion yourself, is going to reversion the other ones, and you want like Dream Breath. But again, you have a wheel that is direct healing. But the rest of your heals, most of the times when you don't have a proc of the Living Flame, they are going to be channel or castable. Okay? And this is when the problem comes. At least like in the beginning, for beginners as Evoker, when I realized I was healing and I realized, okay, I need to cast. Oh, this is the Living Flame I was talking about. You can heal, and this is a pretty huge. You want to proc the most that you can. And the fastest way to proc is with the Verdant Embrace, that is Empower Healing. But that was a problem when I was healing. So I realized that I didn't have that many like instant casts compared to my Mistweaver, or like the movement, like my Mistweaver, of course you can teleport as well, but it's not the same thing, because Mistweaver can like go faster or run faster, and you have like at least nine rolls as a Mistweaver is a more mobile class. So I realized, okay, so something we should have something in order to heal, and you have. In the beginning of the video, you guys remember that I told you Obsidian Melt and Shroud are really important. So every time that you cast Obsidian Scales, you gain you get the buff, right? Damage taken reduced by 30%, immune to interrupt and silence. Okay, so every time I have obsidian scales, I'm immune to interrupt. So that means that I can dream breath freely. I will not get interrupted in my dream breath. Well, yes and no, because you can be stunned and stun will interrupt you. So the idea when you enter into a team fight, imagine you are fighting, you enter into a team fight, imagine that you are like in Battle of Himalayas, in Waterworks, and you enter in the team fight with deep breath, and you want to heal, right? And you don't want to get interrupted. So the idea is like, you pop your Nullifying Shroud, you pop your Obsidian, preferably you prop your Stasis. What the Stasis does is like cause your next helpful 3 spells to be duplicated and stored into Locket, in Time Locket. Okay, so you're gonna Stasis, you're gonna Dream Breath, okay, and reverse and reverse example, okay, and there you have your Stasis. So even if your party gets like a lot of damage, you can literally just Stasis and you're gonna have another Dream Breath. So it's double AoE heal, okay? And you can do that because you just use Obsidian Scales, okay? You are free casting, basically. So it's really important that you guys remember that every time you enter into a team fight, it's important to see if you guys have Obsidian Scales up or no, because that will tell how much healing you will be able to do, or if you need to win a better position, regardless your enemy. Another big ability that you have is Tip Scales that give you mostly an instant cast. So it can be very helpful if you are like panicking. Normally, I do use my tip scales. I do use more with my Spirit Bloom because it's a really big heal. Instead of using my Dream Breath, so normally I try to use my Obsidian Scales with my Dream Breath into a stasis or into like a bunch of reserve. Okay, a bunch of echoes. Sorry. Let's see like the abilities one by one and how do I use them and how you guys should use them as well. Okay, at least like in the beginning. So Spirit Bloom is one major healing that you have. Dream Breath is a major healing that you have. You mostly want to use Crown of Flames that becomes Living Flame. That's the heal that you're gonna see. I can show you guys here. There, the first one. This one, Living Flame. You want to use them into a proc. Shroud is the non-CC buff that you have. Emerald Community is one of your walls. Imagine that is the Cancun from the Mistweaver. Emerald Community. Commune with the Emerald Dreams, restoring 20% health and 2% mana every 0.9 seconds for 4.6 seconds. Overhealing and transfer to an injured ally with 40 yards. A really interesting thing, and let me give you a tip about Emerald Communion that is not in the layout of the spell. Emerald Communion will always heal you first and then heal your allies. And now we go back to the beginning of the video. Okay? You guys remember we talk about the mastery. Healing done to allies is increased by 27%, while their health percentage is lower than your own. So if you communion when you are full HP and you want to heal your party, if you use communion as a AoE heal in order to save your party, example, in Waterworks, your party's in Waterworks, in Battle of Himalayas, your party is completely low and you want to heal them up, communion is a good one. But you need to be 100% health. Okay, so probably it's better even if you need to waste like Tip of Scales, Spirit Bloom on yourself, right? And then communion in order to heal your party. Amazing. Another thing that you can use, let's go with one by one. Fire Breath is the damage. Sleepwalk is the CC. that you just see him. Stasis, I already told you, you store 3 spells that you used before and release them. These spells do not count Emerald Communion or Spirit Bloom, I do believe, but it doesn't count Emerald Communion or Rewind. I tried. Neutralize is your dispel, and Dream Protection is one of the. You can use that one and you can use another, but Dream Protection is a AoE heal that you don't need to be castable, so you use them. It sends like a dragon, and you can explode the dragon, and you teleport back. Okay. Remember, you can die between the process. So even if you use this, remember to use it like in the safe space. Okay. Cauterized Flame, this is huge. Okay, Cauterized Flame, imagine that is a dispel for bleeds. Okay, it's exactly what it says. It's like cauterizing flame, but in this case, cauterizing injury. Rewind is one of your one is your tranquility. Let's put it like that. Rewind is a tranquility. Doesn't work as exactly the same way as a tranquility works, but is the spell that is most relatable is the tranquility. Rewind 30% of the damage taken into last 5 seconds by all allies within 40 yards. Always heal for at least 99,712. So healing increased by 100% when not in raid. So this is pretty cool if you are using in arenas, that is like in parties, right? But the tip that I want to give you here, do not use your rewinds in order to heal your party, but in order to prevent damage. Okay? Imagine that you are healing with dragon, right? And you know that you're gonna enter into again Waterworks. Waterworks is one of the most like stack fight that you have, at least in Battleground Blitz. Imagine that you went in Waterworks, and in the other side, you know that they got like two devastation evokers. They got 2 warlocks and 1 boomy, like something like that. Something that the burst is going to be high. So what you want to do is like you want to prevent damage. So it's way better if you see that your team is not putting the same pressure, or your team have classes that need to ramp up the damage. So the best way to heal is like preventing damage. So you pop up, rewind instantly. Okay? Instantly. It's going to prevent damage and it's going to heal. Okay? The moment you're like, the first 5 seconds is when your team receive like the big burst, and they always come down like 20% of the health. You pop, rewind. And then if your team starts to receiving more damage, and is when you work out into your Spirit Bloom, into your Communion. Okay? And after that, as I was explaining you, echo, rewind, sorry, reverse, echo, and then use like Dream Breath. And I know that I'm going to be interrupted, so I pop my reverse, I pop my shroud. Okay, and I have a Spirit Bloom, I cast a Spirit Bloom, I go with Stasis, I drop my Living Flames, echo, reverse, echo, and I don't have more. So what I have next is Stasis, pump a Stasis, echo again, reverses, Dream Breath. Like, this is the way that you should work around as well of the procs, the Living Flame, and 100%. But this is the way that you should heal. Okay, another important ones, do not forget to verdant. Okay, sometimes is you don't need to verdant to the target, you can need to verdant to yourself. So it's like, it's more safe, let's put it like that. Let me see another spells that are really important. Time Spiral just give you you and your party another movement speed, or another movement cooldown. You have Time Dilation, that is the same thing. Time Dilation is like a mini wall. That is what it's going to do is like stretch the time around an ally for the next 10.4 seconds, causing 50% of the damage they would take to instead to be dealt over 10.4 seconds. So it's going to take 50% of the damage that you take. it's like a mini wall, but is a single target wall, right? You can use it on yourself, or you can use it into your main target or the target that is getting damage. Okay, mostly if you are playing R-rated BGs, R-rating battleground blades, you want to use them on the healers. That supposedly they should be the focus. I know that I know what you guys are gonna say. Fox, from placement still 1.8 is a completely clown fiesta, and nobody does nothing. Everyone is like completely without that. I know. Just try to play your best and try to do your best, and eventually the CR will come. I know that is infuriating, but just try to, okay? Okay, so stats, talents and abilities, and some tips. I know this is like too much compared to other videos, but Dragon is exactly that, right? It's a really fun class to play, but it's really complicated to master. Okay, I'm still figuring it out. How can I be better with this? Okay, this is just like some tips. What, like, to finish the video now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna fly. So in my Mistweaver Monk, I teach you guys how to fly with Mistweaver. You can do that with Dragon as well. So you are playing Twin Peaks and you are playing Horde, and you pick up the flag into the Alliance and you want to fly over the Alliance side to the Horde side. So you can do it with Dragon as well. It's not the same. Mistweaver is way better than Dragon, but it's enough. Okay, I do believe it's enough, and if your team follow up, if your team helps, and as we saw it before, Dragon have a lot of cooldowns. You can work around with a lot of abilities. It's more complicated to play than Mistweaver. I give you that, but you have a lot of cooldowns as well. So what you want to do is, like, you want to work around with Over, you want to work around with Time Spiral, and you want to work around with Deep Breath. Okay, so these three abilities, they should be the abilities that you want to save them when you pick up the flag. Let's put it like that. So what you want to do is, like, your Deep Breath instantly. Okay, that doesn't let me do it, Deep Breath, for some reason. Okay, here we go. I do wait this ability as well. It's not just you guys. It's like, really, they should do this like more simple. They don't, for some reason. Okay, so you Deep Breath, you over, jump, over, fly, spiral, over, fly, and there we go. Okay, it's not the best fly that you have, but it's better than any other class that we have, right? Like, it's not better than Mistweaver, but it's better than any other. Boomy is pretty good with the Fap. I give you that, but I do believe that Dragon can be better. You always can as well. Fly without the breath, basically. Okay, you can fly without the breath and just fly with overs. It's pretty okay. It's not the best one, but it's pretty good. It's pretty okay. So what you want to do is, like, you jump and you fly, basically. If you click space into Dragon, you just, like, it's like a levitate, falling speed reduction, right? It's like a levitate. Let's put it like that. So you can do that. Okay. More. No, I think it's all. I think it's all for this video. Thank you very much for all you guys that subscribe to the channel. Please, if you enjoyed the video and if you want to see any other class, any other video, just drop a comment into this video. Subscribe the channel, drop a like, drop a comment. I really do appreciate it. And I will try to bring more guides as this one. I will bring one more specific guide for Mistweaver and how should you behave inside of Blitz, and why should you behave that way. Please follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/dfox with 2 Z's, and I see you guys in the next one. Peace.